Last week on the Failurist.
Did you know that voice? It's very me, and it's a dirty shirt. Anyway, g'day, it's Mark from Failurist here. So last week we left on a cliffhanger. Sorry about that. It's all about building that drama. So this week we are going to be talking about the climb and basically climbing from the bottom to the middle. If you need to view the other video, you can do so, I believe, here, or it could be here. Um, But in a nutshell, I was at the bottom of my life, and the only way to go was up. So I decided, you know what, I'd lived an easy life, and it's time to put in that hard yakka.
Story time.
Okay, so story time. So I'm fat, broken, living in a garage, and how do I get from that bottom to climb to the middle to be in this white room? Well, the first thing that I did is I had to put a name to the mountain that I was going to climb. And that mountain's name is Erebor. It's the lonely mountain from The Hobbit. I never forget watching Unexpected Journey, and Martin Freeman says this line that sort of has stuck in my sort of consciousness, which is, you don't have one, a home. It was taken from you. But I will help you if I can. Now, no one took my home. I'd left of my own accord. But without one, I needed to get back to one. So when I finally get to the place that I call home, it's going to be called Erebor, you know. And that sounds like a real breakthrough, naming a mountain, calling it Erebor. But if it was called Everest, I could justify that name because naming mountains is very easy. Persephone, there we go, there's a mountain name. But climbing them, well, that's the hard part. So just, yeah, to add some context as well, which I don't know if I mentioned in the last, in the high to low, it was COVID, and everybody remembers COVID, remembers you're by yourself. And for me, that meant drinking. I did hard drinking during the COVID years. 5 out of the 7 days I was drinking, and not a little bit either. Um, and so I'd roll out of bed, get into my PJs, do some head above water, welcome team on Teams, that type of thing to let people know I was alive, and then get some water, have some breakfast, and then have a coffee, be amongst the living, that type of thing, and rinse and repeat pretty much. Tuesdays and Wednesdays I didn't drink. But it started to get bad when, like, Tuesday morning, I'd be thinking, oh, when's Thursday coming? So the first thing that I had to do, because it was getting scary, was put a limit on that. So I went from, 5 days to 3 days. The volume's, not going to lie, it stayed the same, and I'm pretty sure we'll get to the why a little bit later. But yeah, it just meant that, Monday to Thursday I was clear-headed, and then just had to gut out Friday. Next thing that I did was, I wasn't exercising, and you're sort of rolling your head type of thing. So started to walk every day, and then I started to exercise every day. I got a rower. Now, the exercise component actually did bring about a bit of an issue, which we'll get to in another video. But basically what was happening was that every step with the weight I had was grinding down my sort of cartilage in my knees. But cognitively, it was giving me an increased sense of clarity and more purpose on a day-to-day basis. From that came the diet. So, yeah, it went from eat as much as you can, as often as you can, to going on a intermittent fasting diet, which was also keto. So it was two things. So basically, with keto, it sounds delicious. All the steak that you can eat, and don't have to portion control, because That's the one thing when it comes to eating is I have no sense of stopping and portions, and probably a theme in my life is that, if you go from one, you go to 100. Um, so the easy thing with intermittent fasting is that the best portion is no portion. So basically I went from noon to 8, um, and that just allowed my organs to sort of have a rest. And with keto, like, yeah, meat, great. But the problem is, if you want a croissant, that's got, you know, carbs in it. You want a beef noodle soup, those noodles are made out of carbs. So everything delicious has carbs in it. So it was a brutalist diet, but it was necessary in relation to reducing my weight and also getting a better sense of who I was. Um, the next part of that sort of journey was dominating the mornings. You know, dominating the mornings meant working at a sweet spot of when to get up, and it got earlier and earlier until I arrived at 4:30, and I would start my day then. Do all the good stuff, meditation, uh, added exercise into that sort of morning ritual, uh, journaling, and basically creating a structure in which I started my day on the right foot. And it's something that I sort of maintain to this day. The next thing that I needed to do was sort of look at my finances, actually look at where I was spending, what I was spending on, and actually working at a savings platform where you sort of save money first. And then you sort of, because if I wanted to actually get out of that sort of 4x4 room, I had to actually make sure I knew what I was spending and, putting a savings plan into effect. And also there was no excuse. COVID, we weren't going out raging. There weren't too many things that you could do. What you could do was limit your sort of alcohol consumption. You could limit your spending, and be more effective. So, yeah. And the result of that was, I think I was in the garage for 2 years and then moved out by myself. And then now I'm in this sort of white room that you see me in. And, I'm sort of with my daughter now, and the beauty of that is the family's together. So from a weight perspective, I went from a XXL at one point to a medium shirt, and sort of increase my muscle mass, reduce my fat. Regarding drinking, well, that's, like I said, going to be a story for another day. It's, I'm a real person, so I'm not going to say everything sort of just magically, colors were brighter, food was tastier, but I could, stop at one carrot type thing. And that's the thing, like, most importantly is I started to develop a mindset where I saw failure as an event. I started to look at it and actually go, you know what? I've been at the bottom, I've been at a place where a lot of people have been, but not too many. And I was okay. Like, I could literally say it was an event. It was a hard event, but it was just an event. And, am I successful? Yes, absolutely. I'm successful at failing. I'm successful at having a mindset where failure is part of the journey. Hence the Failurist. So, and also I was successful at making hard choices, making hard decisions, and starting to know that in order to do something good, you actually can't take the easy path. You actually have to take the hard path. Um, and do I take the hard path all the time? Nah, like, come on, let's be real. Life is hard, and sometimes you're going to take the easy route, and I do that daily. Um, and there's so many times that I look up at this mountain, Erebor, and I look up and it's so high. The peak is so high. I don't know if I can ever get there, because there's so far to climb. But then I remember to look down, and when I look down, I just look at how far I've come, and if I was to let go, I would fall to my death because of how high I've come. Now, will I slip? Yes, absolutely. But you know what? I will keep hold and keep climbing off the back of that and take the lessons learned from those slips. Um, so yeah, that's the story, and yeah, I just hope if you can't take, you won't take everything from it, but take gleanings that if you have a slip up, things are going to be okay. You're going to get better. It's just so long as you sort of take stock, breathe, okay, and take the learnings from that, and then move forward.
Lessons learned.
So lessons learned. So my climb to the middle of my journey has taken years, and there's still so much more to do. But you have to start somewhere. And are you going to fail and fall even when you sort of know what you need to do? Absolutely. Is it going to hurt? Absolutely. But it's going to hurt less than what it did, and it'll hurt less again. And you'll learn to sort of get back up and roll with the punches, and learn the lessons and go again.
With the first pick of the Global Resilience League draft, you select.
So trade proposal is back. And have I got a trade proposal for you? What the team is offering is the Bounce Back Blueprint Bundle. In this bundle, you'll get 2 journals that will help you understand failure, understand how to reframe it as an event, and take the learnings from it and chart a course forward. So those 2 journals are Everyday Fail, which is those sort of, you've had a bad day, take a look at what happened and how you can do it better, and take the lessons from those sorts of events. And the Big Fail Journal, which is basically those bigger sort of fail events that you get that you really need to take stock of, take the emotion out of it, and really gain the learnings from those type of events. The Rafael de Sousa, the industry insider, is calling it the steal of the century. So yeah, if you want to click on the Trade Center, I'll leave a link in the bio below. Also wanted to let you know that we have a website, failurist.com. And if you want to book some time with me and have a one-on-one conversation to try and unpack your own failures, yeah, happy to do that as well. If you like this video, yeah, it would be great to get a like, not gonna lie. But if you need to subscribe to something, maybe The Office Ladies, that I really like that sort of podcast. But yeah, if you've got any comments as well, just feel free to leave them below and let's start a conversation. So I wanted to leave you with one of the most inspirational quotes I've ever read. And I didn't really get into this book until I was in my 30s. And the book's called Oh, the Places You Go by Dr. Seuss. And there's one line that I really loved. And that goes, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting. So get on your way. Happy climbing.